Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this episode we are talking about new arrivals from Umbrella Entertainment. We have 2 worldwide exclusive Blu-rays, and we have something that's very near and dear to my heart. We'll talk about all of this in just a second, but let's kick it off with Blood Vessel. This is a new, and I believe completely independent, Australian horror film that really impressed me. It really did. I'll give you my full review in just a second. We have the debut, the Blu-ray debut. Guys, 2020, the Blu-ray debut of Half Baked. Never been a Blu-ray anywhere in the world of Half Baked until right now, thanks to Umbrella Entertainment. And then I already showed it to you. I'm so excited about this. The Jungle Gym movie collection. Jungle Gym was a mid-century, late 40s into the 50s adventure film series. It's not a serial, but it was a series of short B-movies starring Tarzan himself, Johnny Weissmuller. Again, we'll review this in just a second. Umbrella Entertainment, if you haven't been with us for years now, Umbrella Entertainment is a company that we love. They often release the only Blu-rays of certain titles, as you see here, the only Blu-rays that we get of certain titles, and they do wonderful preservation, not just for Australian films, but for American films and for European films. I mean, they're a really great resource. They're helping to keep this stuff alive. Only from Umbrella, you can get the Brian Trenchard Smith. It's a little washed out. Can you guys see that? It's the Brian Trenchard Smith double feature. These are action movies that Trenchard Smith directed early 90s. And, everything I'm about to show you, there's a review at serialatmidnight.com. So go check out Serial at Midnight if you want full reviews for all of this. Not Quite Hollywood is the documentary about Australian filmmaking, exploitation. Again, only on Blu-ray through Umbrella. The Electric Boogaloo, the Canon documentary, and Machete Maidens Unleashed about the Filipino exploitation scene. Once again, only on Blu-ray through Umbrella. As is The Longest Yard, the original and best Burt Reynolds' Longest Yard. Only Umbrella has put this out on Blu-ray. Can you believe that a movie as classic as The Longest Yard did not get a Blu-ray release until this year? It's crazy. And this is, of course, like there's a cult of Burt fans, right? Like, we love Burt Reynolds. He's the bandit, man. And I should also talk about this Mad Dog Morgan, also from Umbrella. You know, Dennis Hopper, after Easy Rider, his career kind of goes up in flames because he's so difficult to work with. People won't hire him in Hollywood. He goes to Australia. Out of that comes Mad Dog Morgan, which is a bonkers film with a lot of bonkers behind-the-scenes stories some of those stories are on the Not Quite Hollywood documentary. So we love Umbrella. We've been talking about Umbrella for quite a while. And now we have these. These are all brand new. Well, this one came out I want to say this came out about Christmas 2019. But I've just gotten my hands on it, and I'm so grateful for it. And the good news is there's more coming. This is, you know what? I'll save it. So let's start with Blood Vessel. As I say, this is an independent Australian horror film, and I was so impressed with it. Sometimes movies come along that do things in a way you've never quite seen them done. If you never see, like premises that you've never seen before. 30 Days of Night is a good example for that. You know, there was a comic book and then there was a movie adaptation. It's a really cool idea, and you're like, I can't believe this has never been done before. This has kind of been done before, but not like this. And I'm going to have to be careful about this because I want to talk about this in a way that respects, the promotion for this. It's a new movie. So this is still making its way out there, and the promotion for this movie has kind of avoided certain plot elements, and I'm going to do my best to preserve that because I think everybody deserves to see the twists as they happen. But I'll say the premise of the movie is that this is the close of World War II. There is in the waning days of the war, the Nazis have turned their friendly fire, not friendly, they've started to attack people you don't normally attack, like hospital ships. You normally let that stuff go. They've started to attack hospital ships. So our movie opens up with a band of survivors on this life raft, on this lifeboat. Think lifeboat, Hitchcock, right? Personalities, 12 angry men, that sort of a thing. You've got all these different people on this boat. You've got Australian, English, American, a Russian. So there's all this tension. Their supplies are gone, their rations are exhausted, and they're on their last leg. When out of the mist in the night comes this boat, and it's a Nazi boat, this ship. And that's That's where the movie starts. They board the ship. It appears to be empty, but it is not empty. There is evil on the ship. And that's all I think I should say. But I will say what that evil is. The first half of the movie is kind of like, how do we survive these circumstances? How are we going to get out of this? The second half of the movie is survival. And it's really, really cool because so much of these effects, that evil that I was mentioning, is done mostly through practical effects. There's a lot of CG here. It's good CGI, but there's a lot of practical too. A lot of masks and makeup. And in the process of researching this, listening to the special features, going through all, it's loaded, by the way. I learned that this is Wicked of Oz. This is like a production house. I guess this is kind of the equivalent of like maybe Greg Nicotero's company, but the Australian version of that. So we're talking about like a makeup house, an effects house. So they deal with masks and things like that all the time. It's directed by Justin Dix, who is like the founder of a lot of this stuff. So impressed. And the special features do not disappoint either. We've got 2 audio commentaries, and the director is on both of them. One of them is with the cast and the director, and the other one is with the editor and the director. Blood Vessel, the production diary, is 49 minutes of like fly-on-the-wall production stuff. There's an onboard Blood Vessel, which is the making of the movie. It's about a half an hour. There's an interview with, there's an interview with one of the creatures, and it made me laugh out loud. Like, it was not what I was expecting. It was freaking fantastic. There's a Nazi newsreel. There's like a newsreel that appears in the movie, and they present the whole newsreel on the special features. Visual effects breakdown, morale-boosting animations. One of the members of the cast created these little animations just to amuse people on the set. Online promos, trailers. A really wonderful movie, and the arts. So here's our reversible cover. You often get reversible covers with Umbrella products. Look at that artwork. This was sort of used to promote the film, and it's gorgeous. And if you think that's cool, the movie lives up to the poster for this. It's the highest compliment I can give it. Let's talk about Half Baked. I'd forgotten how funny this movie was, or is. This is a hilarious movie. I saw this in 1998. I saw this movie, I'm sure I saw it relatively when it was new, but I haven't revisited it in a long time. I can't believe it's been over 20 years. I haven't revisited it in years, and I laughed so much. It's ridiculous, and it came from this wonderful time. I would say between like 93 and maybe 2001. There was this window where you could kind of do anything, and I feel really lucky that I kind of came into my movie fandom during this time. This is the era of Tarantino. This is the era of like David Fincher, but not just those serious kinds of movies. Like, this is also what gave us Austin Powers and Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion, and movies like Half Baked. You could not make this movie today because, one, it's far too politically incorrect, but two, it's just bizarre, and it kind of chases whatever it's amused with at the time. There's a fight scene in this movie, and it's set to the music from the old 60s Batman show. So like, let's have a fight. I guess that's my Dave Chappelle apparently. Let's have a fight. There's a fight that breaks out, and it's like, da-na-na-na-na-na. It's hilarious stuff if you're into it. Like, if you're on board with it, if you give yourself to this movie, it's so good. Jim Brewer as the stoner, the guy on the couch, man. It's a hilarious film. So many cameos, like pre-fame, pre-Daily Show, Jon Stewart's here. Janine Garofalo, Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson. There's just so many. Oh, Bob Saget, probably the best cameo of all time. Because I think people in 1998 didn't realize how filthy Bob Saget was. And it was like, what? But it's a wonderful movie. Listen, this was written, Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan wrote this movie together. So they're the writers. They would later go create together the Chappelle Show. So this is pre-Chappelle Show from the people who were about to make Chappelle Show. And it feels like it. Like all the like the Rick James kind of humor and stuff. Like, it's all here. It's untethered Dave Chappelle. It's so funny because I saw Dave Chappelle in 2000. I think it was 2002. It's like really pre-mega stardom Dave Chappelle. Like, we knew who he was, but the heights of Chappelle Show had not happened yet. It was a college tour. I think it was like a 9-city college tour. And we saw him. And the audience, college audience, probably drinking involved, they were so wild that they were not like heckling, not heckling like, get off the stage, but just like asking questions and stuff in the middle of his set. And he just abandoned his routine. He abandoned his set list and just started talking to the audience. He's like, finally, this happened at 2 shows that I can remember. I also saw Carrot Top at this college tour. Now, Carrot Top, you know, prop comedy, not well respected. Carrot Top held his own, I gotta say. The audience started to heckle him because same thing, just a wild, uncontrolled audience, which does not. These people probably never came back. Also saw Kevin Nealon do the same thing, but Chappelle, he handled the crowd so well, and for like an hour, he just abandoned his set and just like he had a whole lot, like he just riffed for like an hour talking about. I can't necessarily say what he talked about because I don't want to get the explicit tag on my videos, but I was impressed, and so I've always kind of been a fan of how he was able to. He's just a really talented, really funny man, and all of that is evidenced here. I can't believe that it's 2020, and we have never had a Blu-ray of this until now. So good on you, Umbrella. So grateful that we have this. If you have the old DVD of this movie, you can chuck it. You can upgrade this, and you can chuck it because this has all of the special features from the old DVD. It's got the commentary, it's got the alternate ending, the deleted scenes, the 5 minutes with the guy on the couch. It's got the, what else is on here? The different types of smokers, Granny's Guide to Baking. It's actually bacon. There's no G at the end of it, but it's crazy stuff, but it's so funny. Like, you know, just the Chappelleisms and the Jim Brewer express, like just facial expressions. It's such a fun movie. It delights. You know what? Whether you partake of the subject, whether you are half-baked yourself, it doesn't matter. It's just a fun movie that invites you to come enjoy the absurdity. Maybe that's what it is. We've kind of gotten away from the ability to be absurd in our films. It's just not allowed anymore. But it was, and I remember. Jungle Jim, the movie collection. This is, you know, we love serials here at Serial at Midnight. I love to talk to you guys about Flash Gordon and about, Zorro. And, you know, we what are serials at midnight? We got King of the Rocket Men, you know, Rocketeer sort of stuff. I love this. And so I've been really excited about the Jungle Jim collection. These movies made for Columbia, 48 to about 55, and they're B movies. They're not serials, but they're B movies. They are very of a piece with serials because they're made on a shoestring budget. You know, you go like out into the woods, just, you know, go to the ranch and you film a Jungle Jim. So interesting too, because so this is Johnny Weissmuller. Johnny Weissmuller, he was a swimmer, right? He was an Olympic swimmer. I know he was a swimmer. I think he was an Olympic swimmer. Incredibly handsome, chiseled out of stone. Became Tarzan in the 30s. That's John. Like that's all that's associated with Weissmuller's tenure as Tarzan. By the way, I've been called out by not calling Johnny Weissmuller Johnny Weissmuller in the past. In all the period press, any interviews that you see with Johnny, it's Weissmuller. He pronounced it Weissmuller. So I think Weissmuller is, of course, correct, but he didn't pronounce it that way. So I'm going to go with Weissmuller. And by doing that, I covered my bases. So we can say Johnny Weissmuller. We can also say Johnny Weissmuller. He was not your typical leading man. He was not what you would expect. He talked up here like this. And by the 40s and the 50s, he had aged aggressively. I was looking for the word that wasn't like mean. He'd aged kind of a lot. He looks like a different guy. But these are made for him. These are tailor-made for him. And there are 6 movies on this collection. This is not the complete collection. There are 16 Jungle Jim movies. Here's a footnote, by the way. They're Jungle Jim, but later in the series, they don't even call him Jungle Jim anymore. He's Johnny Weissmuller. And like that's his character. Like he's himself. They're not Jungle Jim movies. They're Johnny Weissmuller movies. And he's like, it's Johnny Weissmuller. And they're not necessarily like, it's the guy that played Tarzan. Like, they're not quite doing that. But he's just playing a version of himself. So, it's kind of crazy, but it's very cool. And I guess it just speaks to his iconic status, I suppose. Here's the good news. There are 16 Jungle Jim movies in this series. This is 6 of them. Here are the 6 titles that are included in this series. Breaking news, hot off the presses. Maybe this is even an exclusive for you guys because this came directly from my contact at Umbrella Entertainment. They are prepping 2 more volumes of Jungle Jim for early 2021. So, if there's 16 of them, and there are 16 here, and there's 2 more volumes coming, might we have the complete Jungle Jim in just a matter of months? Fingers crossed. I'm so excited about it. I love this stuff. We will be doing like a full in-depth feature just on these. This is more than I can This is more than I can cover in context here. You see, there you can see how the words got mixed up. It's more than I can cover here and do justice to. So we'll probably do, maybe a serials at midnight is the best place for that. Though they're not technically serials, it's the same crews, it's the same shooting locations. It's basically serials, but they're just longer. You know, they're 68 minutes. By the way, that's another appeal of these, is they're like an hour and 8 minutes, and they tell a whole story. So you don't need 2.5 hours, guys. Hollywood Elite in 2020 and 2021, you don't need 2.5 hours. You need 68 minutes. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out and talking about Umbrella Entertainment's new releases. As you can see, there's a whole lot of good stuff coming out of this company. We love them. Again, I think I already told you this, but I'm going to say it again. All this stuff plays perfectly fine on my Region A Blu-ray player, my Region 1 DVD player. Blu-rays don't play on my DVD player. I got to cover my bases so people are like, wait a minute, you said the Blu-rays play on my Blu-ray player and the DVDs play on my DVD player. Unhacked, unregion unlocked. You know, these are region friendly. So I'm telling you that, and I recommend every single one of these. If you do head over there to Umbrella, wherever you pick these up, you know, you can do your own independent research and buy them where you want to. But if you buy them from Umbrella, please let them know that Serial at Midnight sent you, because that'd be really cool that they know that we're out here representing and talking about what they're doing in a way that's has substance. Substance, that's the key right there. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I do appreciate you and your time. Take care, and until next time, I will catch you later.